Yo, we got a lot of action to talk about for this Thursday's tournament games. I have my best bets to share with you, so let's get rolling.
At midcourt, extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer.
Welcome back, guys. We are going to jump right into the action, but before we get ahead of ourselves, I need you to muster all the strength you can out of that little thumb right there and tap that like button. Please do your part to show your support for the BettorOff channel. BettorOff is a community of sports bettors that document their sports bets on the BettorOff app. It's free to download, and you can make free picks against a variety of some of the biggest sports books in the industry. So hop on there and check out my profile. You can also get 1,000 free coins on the app by using promo code DAVE when you first sign up. Alright, let's dive into this game between Vermont and Arkansas. The Razorbacks started as a 6.5 point favorite, and the total opened at 140. Both lines have adjusted some, and you can find the spread now as low as 5. Clearly, there is plenty of support for Vermont in the betting community. A 1.5 point drop is significant. Vermont is a good team offensively. They rank 7th in the nation for offensive efficiency, but that was against a different caliber of competition. They're going to need to pass the Arkansas stress test now. Arkansas brought the intensity on defense all season long. I can only imagine it's going to get kicked up another notch now. However, the spread may have dropped some because most people remember seeing Arkansas lose 2 of their last 3 games, including an 18-point loss to Texas A&M. But if you had a chance to see my video sharing my favorite long shots for this year's Final Four, you know that I'm pretty high on the Razorbacks' chances of making it out of this region. I think Arkansas handles business and covers 5. Side note, Vermont played 2 out-of-conference games against teams from major conferences this season, and they lost against Maryland and Providence by double digits. Keep in mind that I'll be sharing all of my best bets on this channel throughout the tourney. If you like a heads up when we post new videos, make sure you subscribe and tap the bell. Next up, we have 10 seed San Francisco Dons playing the 7 seed Murray State Racers. The Dons started as a 2-point favorite, but Murray State seems like a popular pick because they are now favored to win by 1.5. And the total dropped from 139.5 to 136.5. This is definitely one of the more active games. Be sure to shop for the best odds on BettorOff. The Racers just seem to be on a magical run this year. They have seen a remarkable turnaround from the previous season when they went 13-13. Their last loss was to Auburn in December. They are 30-2 this season, but I also think that they may have benefited from their conference being a little weaker than it has been in years past. The Dons, on the other hand, were a very competitive team in the West Coast Conference this season. They went 24-9, and that was only good for 4th place. They've had to battle it out with teams like Gonzaga, St. Mary's, and BYU all season. And because they took a backseat to a lot of those bigger names, they've flown under the radar. They're led by a group of seniors. In fact, their top 4 leading scorers are all seniors. However, the one thing that scares me about the Dons is their propensity to have late game collapses. I do like them at plus 1.5, but I also like them plus 1 in the first half as well. I'm actually betting both the first half and the whole game for this one. If my first half bet wins, I'm probably going to make a hedge on the second half, guaranteeing that I get a profit, but also it's going to give me the chance to triple my money as well. Matter of fact, I'm actually going to show a full breakdown of how this strategy works in a coming video, so make sure you stay tuned for that as well. For the last game of the night, number 16 seed Texas Southern is taking on number 1 seed Kansas. The Jayhawks are currently favored by 21.5 after opening at 19.5, and the total can be found as high as 146 after opening at 142.5 at some places. If you have watched any of my videos throughout the years, you probably know that I do not bet on teams giving up this many points, and I'm not going to start with this game. I absolutely expect Kansas to beat the brakes off of Texas Southern. However, with a spread like this, you're always going to be exposed to the backdoor cover by an underdog. I can totally see the Jayhawks getting up big and then throwing it in cruise control, and then the Tigers getting a last-minute cover when the game is already decided. But I'm not taking the points either. Instead, I like this game to go under. I think Kansas will keep Texas Southern around or even under 60 points for this whole game. And Kansas will be up big enough to start pulling out starters in the game down the stretch. So I think the final score ends up being around like 80-60. With how much this line has moved from where it started, it's moved 3.5 points. The under seems like a solid play here. Alright guys, I have a couple more games I haven't quite pulled the trigger on yet, but this is what I'm looking at. I should mention that my decision to bet on these games will depend entirely on how the lines move as we get closer to tip-off. If the numbers move to improve in my favor, I may throw down something on these games as well. Right now, I am eyeballing Indiana to possibly get the outright upset against the Gales. They're getting 3 points against St. Mary's, and I've seen the money line at plus 130. This wouldn't be a huge upset, but every year a 12 seed takes out a 5 seed, and this one looks like a good candidate. Another game I'm sort of waiting to pull the trigger on is the Richmond versus Iowa game. I like that game to go over the total. This one opened at 153.5 and is now down to 149.5 some places. Both teams can score some points, but I expect Iowa to do most of the heavy lifting in this one. I think they put up 85 to 90 points by themselves. If Richmond can chip in maybe 65 to 70 points on their own, this should cash. As mentioned, I am going to wait and see if the numbers improve on these games though. So if you want to follow more of my picks, you can check out my profile in the BettorOff app absolutely free. Subscribing to the channel is also absolutely free as well. This is all perishable content though. As soon as the games have started, a lot of this information has lost its value, so make sure you tap on that bell after you subscribe and you'll get a notification when we upload our next video. I'll be sharing all of my best bets all throughout this tournament, so make sure you stay tuned. Until next time, best of luck banging on the books.